Hello and welcome to day 74 of our Chronological Bible in a Year reading. Today we have Deuteronomy 11, 12, and 13. Deuteronomy 11. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim and guard his charge, even his laws and his right rulings and his commands always. And you shall know today, for it is not your children who have not known and who have not seen the discipline of Yahuwah your Elohim, his greatness, his strong hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs and his works which he had done in the midst of Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and to all his land. And that which he had done to the army of Mitzrayim, to their horses and their chariots, when he made the waters of the sea of reeds overflow them as they pursued you, and how Yahuwah has destroyed them to this day, and what he had done for you in the wilderness till you came to this place. And what he had done to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, son of Reuben, when the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and their households and their tents, and all the living creatures that were in the possession, in the midst of all Yisrael. For yours are the eyes that saw all the great work of Yahuwah which he did. And you shall guard every command which I command you today, so that you are strong and shall go in and shall possess the land which you are passing over to possess, and to prolong your days in the land which Yahuwah swore to give your fathers, to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land which you are going in to possess is not like the land of Mitzrayim from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it by foot as a vegetable garden. But the land which you are passing over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of the Shamayim, which is the heavens. A land which Yahuwah your Elohim looks after. The eyes of Yahuwah your Elohim are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the latter end of the year. And it shall be that if you diligently obey my commands which I command you today, to love Yahuwah your Elohim and to serve him with all your heart and with all your being, then I shall give you the rain for your land in its season, the early rain and the latter rain, and you shall gather in your grain and your new wine and your oil. And I shall give grass in your fields for your livestock, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Guard yourselves, lest your heart be deceived, and you turn aside and serve other mighty ones and bow down to them. Then the displeasure of Yahuwah shall burn against you, and he shall shut up the Shamayim, and there be no rain, and the land not give its increase. And you shall perish quickly from the good land which Yahuwah is giving you. And you shall lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your being, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children are increased on the land, of which Yahuwah swore to your fathers to give them, as the days of the Shamayim on the earth. For if you diligently guard all these commands which I command you, to do it, to love Yahuwah your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to cling to him, then Yahuwah shall drive out all these nations before you, and you shall dispossess greater and stronger nations than you. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads is yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Perath, even to the western sea is your border. No man shall stand against you. Yahuwah your Elohim shall put the dread of you and the fear of you upon all the land where you tread, as he has spoken to you. See, I am putting before you today a barakah and a curse, which means a blessing and a curse. The barakah, when you obey the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I command you today, and the curse, if you do not obey the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim, but turn aside from the way which I command you today, to go after other mighty ones which you have not known. And it shall be, when Yahuwah your Elohim has brought you into the land which you go to possess, that you shall put the barakah on Mount Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal. Are they not beyond the Jordan, following the way of the sun westward, in the land of the Canaanites who dwell in the desert plain opposite Gilgal, beside the terebinth trees of Morah? For you are passing over the Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you, and you shall possess it and dwell in it, and shall guard to do all the laws and right rulings which I am putting before you today. Chapter 12. These are the laws and right rulings which you guard to do in the land which Yahuwah which Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers is giving you to possess all the days that you live on the land. Completely destroy all the places where the nations which you are dispossessing served their mighty ones, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. And you shall break down their altars and destroy their pillars and burn their asherim with fire. And you shall cut down the carved images of their mighty ones and shall destroy their name out of that place. Do not do so to Yahuwah your Elohim, but seek the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses out of all your tribes to put his name there, for his dwelling place, and there you shall enter. And there you shall take your burnt offerings and your tithes and the contributions of your hand and your vowed offerings and your voluntary offerings and the firstlings of your herd and of your flock. And there you shall eat before Yahuwah your Elohim and shall rejoice in all that you put your hand to, you and your households in which Yahuwah your Elohim has blessed you. Do not do all that we do here today, each one whatever is right in his own eyes. Do not do all that we do here. Because you have not yet entered the rest and the inheritance which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. But you shall pass over the Jordan, and shall dwell in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you to inherit. And he shall give you rest from all your enemies round about, and you shall dwell in safety. And it shall be that unto the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell there, there you are to bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your tithes, the contributions of your hand, and all your choice offerings which you vow to Yahuwah. And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim, you and your sons and your daughters, and your male servants and your female servants, and the Levite who is within your gates, since he has no portion nor inheritance with you. Guard yourself that you do not offer your burnt offerings in every place that you see, except in the place which Yahuwah chooses, in one of your tribes. There you are to offer your burnt offerings, and there you are to do all that I command you. Only whatever your being desires you shall slaughter and eat, according to the barakah of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he has given you, within all your gates. The unclean and the clean do eat of it, of the gazelle and the deer alike. Only the blood you do not eat. Pour it on the earth like water. You are not allowed to eat within your gates the tithe of your grain, or of your new wine, or of your oil, or of the firstlings of your herd or your flock, or of any of your offerings which you vow, or of your voluntary offerings, or of the contribution of your hand. But eat them before Yahuwah your Elohim in the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses, you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite who is within your gates. And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim in all that you put your hand to. Guard yourself that you do not forsake the Levite as long as you live in your land. When Yahuwah your Elohim enlarges your border as he has promised you, and you say, let me eat meat, because you long to eat meat, you eat as much meat as your being desires. When the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, then you shall slaughter from your herd and from your flock, which Yahuwah has given you, as I have commanded you, and you shall eat within your gates as much as your being desires. Only as the gazelle and the deer are eaten, so you are to eat of it. The unclean and the clean alike eat of it. Only be firm not to eat the blood, for the blood is the life. Do not eat the life with the meat. Do not eat it. You pour it on the earth like water. Do not eat it, that it might be well with you and your children after you when you do what is right in the eyes of Yahuwah. Only the Kadesh, or holy, gifts which you have, and your vowed offerings you are to take up and go to the place which Yahuwah chooses. And you shall make your burnt offerings, the meat and the blood on the altar of Yahuwah your Elohim. And the blood of your offerings is poured out on the altar of Yahuwah your Elohim, and you eat the meat. Guard and obey all these words which I command you, that it might be well with you and your children after you forever, when you do what is good and right in the eyes of Yahuwah your Elohim. When Yahuwah your Elohim cuts off from before you the nations which you go to dispossess, and you dispossess them and dwell in their land, guard yourself that you are not ensnared to follow them, after they are destroyed from before you, and that you do not inquire about their mighty ones, saying, how do these nations serve their mighty ones, and let me do so too? Do not do so to Yahuwah your Elohim, for every abomination which Yahuwah hates they have done to their mighty ones, for they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their mighty ones. All the words I am commanding you, guard to do it. Do not add to it, nor take away from it. in chapter 13. When there arises among you a Nabi, which is a prophet, or a dreamer of dreams, and he shall give you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder shall come true, of which he has spoken to you, saying, Let us go after other mighty ones which you have not known, and serve them. Do not listen to the words of that Nabi or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahuwah your Elohim is trying you to know whether you love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being. Walk after Yahuwah your Elohim and revere him, and guard his commands and obey his voice, and serve him and cling to him. And that Nabi or that dreamer of dreams is put to death, because he has spoken apostasy against Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim and redeemed you from the house of bondage, to make you stray from the way in which Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you to walk. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. When your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend who is as your own being, entices you secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other mighty ones, which you have not known, neither you nor your fathers, of the mighty ones of the people which are all around you, near to you or far off from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Do not agree with him or listen to him, nor shall your eye pardon him, nor spare him, or conceal him, but you shall certainly kill him. Your hand is first against him, to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. And you shall stone him with stones until he dies, because he sought to entice you away from Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim from the house of bondage. And let all Yisrael hear and revere, and not again do any such evil matter as this in your midst. When you hear someone in one of your cities, which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you to dwell in, saying, Some men, sons of Belial, have gone out of your midst and led the inhabitants of their city astray, saying, Let us go and serve other mighty ones, which you have not known, then you shall inquire, search out, and ask diligently, and see if the matter is true, and establish that this abomination was done in your midst. You shall certainly smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, putting it under the ban, and all that is in it and its livestock, with the edge of the sword, and gather all its plunder into the middle of the street, and completely burn with fire the city and all its plunder before Yahuwah your Elohim. And it shall be a heap forever, never to be built again. And none of that which is put under the ban is to cling to your hand, so that Yahuwah turns from the fierceness of his displeasure, and shall show you compassion, love you, and increase you, as he swore to your fathers. When you obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to guard all his commands, which I command you today, to do what is right in the eyes of Yahuwah your Elohim. And that concludes our reading for today. As always, thank you for joining. Hope you're reading along with me. And peace and blessings and love to you. See you in the next one.